Hi students, how are you all? Today we are back to see the second part of nationalism in India. As I told you earlier, in first part we discussed about non-cooperation movement and Khilafat movement, how it started, what activities were being done, what was the intention behind starting that movement, okay, all that we discussed, okay. As you know very well, in this lesson we will discuss about two movements led by Gandhiji. The first movement, non-cooperation along with Khilafat movement, and second we will discuss about civil disobedience movement, okay. So here in first part we saw some features of non-cooperation and Khilafat movement, okay. Now we will see in different parts of our India how the people were behaving, what activities were being done at that time during this moment, that we'll think about in the second part. So part 2, differing strands within the movement. In this part, we are going to discuss about three territories, three areas. One, what activities were being done in cities, that is urban area. Then in countryside, which things or which activities led to the non-cooperation movement, that we'll see. In that we will see two case studies, one of Awadh and second Andhra Pradesh, okay. And third aspect of this movement, third strand, that is plantation. In plantation, what was that system, how the people worked there, and what was the system, that we will discuss in details when that part will come, okay. So in this way we are going towards in depth of this non-cooperation movement. So let's begin. Yes, the first we will discuss about the towns, cities, the movement in the towns, what people were doing. Means when we say that non-cooperation movement was going on, but exactly what people were doing in this moment, isn't it? That is the big question. Okay, Gandhiji was leading, but exactly what was the role, what participants were doing, that we will see in this. Okay, so first of all, you can see here thousands of students left government controlled schools, colleges. Then headmasters and teachers, they also resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. Okay, as you know very well, Gandhiji told people that if we ask for complete non-cooperation with Britishers, they cannot stay in India, because Britishers can rule us just because of our cooperation. If we don't cooperate with them, they can't rule India, isn't it? So that's why we have to call for complete non-cooperation. And when Gandhiji called for this complete non-cooperation, then schools and colleges, government controlled schools and colleges, students left. Okay, then headmasters and teachers, they also resigned for these jobs. Then lawyers gave up their legal practices. So here you can see the backbone of system, they are just leaving their jobs. Okay, then second, the council elections were boycotted. Definitely all were not agree with this. For example, Justice Party of Madras. In this party, maximum people, they were non-Brahmins, and they used to think at least we are getting some power because of this council election, and if we boycott that, then again there will be problem, we will not get any power. So they were thinking that we should not boycott council election. So except Madras, all over the India, council elections were boycotted. Okay, so in this way, on political front and social front, people were fighting in this way. Okay, now we'll discuss about the economic front, how the people were fighting on economic front. Okay, first of all, see, as you know very well, Britishers came in our India for trading, isn't it? They didn't come, that was not their intention to come to India, that they will rule India. When they were seeing this anarchy in India, means the people or the rulers of India, old kings of India, there was complete anarchy. Who is ruling whom, they didn't know, isn't it? And that's why our issues, our problems were going towards Britishers, and then they thought, why can't we rule India, isn't it? And as in this way, from tradesmen they become rulers. Okay, so the economic front was the most important to fight against Britishers, isn't it? So what activities were being done? First of all, foreign goods were boycotted, liquor shops picketed, and foreign cloth burned in huge bonfires. Okay, because as you know very well, if you want to make our country prosper, what we have to do? We have to use domestic products, isn't it? The things which are made, produced in our own country, we have to use them. That is the backbone of every economy, isn't it? If you see all the developed countries in the world, you will realize one thing, that these developed countries, they are using maximum thing which are made in their country. Okay, that's why we have to use our own products. So see how Gandhiji, how much Gandhiji was visionary, isn't it? So he said, first of all, foreign goods should be boycotted, liquor shops should be picketed, and foreign cloth burnt in huge bonfires. It was a symbol of protest. And when it was boycotted, it directly affected the business of Britishers. How? Here you can see. Between 1921 to 1922, the foreign cloth, it was halved, and the price of it, earlier it was 102 crore, 102 crore, it came to 57 crore. It means half of the business of Britisher, it collapsed, isn't it? Then in many places, merchants and traders, they refused to trade in foreign goods or finance foreign trade. Again, it was a symbol of protest. Okay. Then as the boycott movement spread and people began discarding imported clothes and wearing only Indian ones, production of Indian textile mills and handlooms went up. Definitely it is going to be the result. If people stop using foreign products, but they have to use something, then they will come to domestic product. And when they started using domestic products, the handlooms and Indian textile, it went up. Okay, they were getting the prosperity because they got the chance. You might have heard about it, that Indian cloth was such a flexible that there was a huge demand from England for this cloth, and that's why as there was a big demand in England, the tradesmen, the merchants of England, they feared about it, and that's why they cut the hands of Bengali people. Many weavers were there, their hands were cut down so that they cannot make such a fine cloth material. Okay, because they wanted to increase, grow their business in India, and if the demand of Indian cloth increased in England, then it was not beneficial for them, isn't it? So in this way, when Gandhiji called for this boycotting foreign cloth and using khadi, their business collapsed, almost collapsed. Okay, so in this way these activities were being done in towns, but there was problem with this initiative. And what was that problem? When people boycotted foreign cloth, it must be replaced by something, and it was replaced by khadi. People started using khadi. Okay, but khadi was so much expensive. Okay, and that's why it could not replace uh, foreign cloth. Okay, now nowadays also you can say we are talking about Swadeshi, we have to use domestic thing, but as you know, maximum of you must be using Mi mobile, isn't it? Why? Because it is because the facilities, features they are giving, they are so much, and if you compare them with other mobiles, then you will come to know that if you want to purchase mobile with this feature of other company, then it will cost thrice and four times price, isn't it? Okay, so khadi was so much expensive, and that's why people were not able to purchase. Okay, all people could not go with that. Then second, when you are going to boycott something, you have to replace it with something. When you are boycotting one institution, then you must replace it with something, isn't it? But there was no alternative institution to put on place of Britishers, and that's why this movement could not go on for a long time. Okay, that was the problem with this movement. Then now here we will discuss about countryside. Okay, so case of Awadh. Okay, as I told you earlier that we are going to study two cases, one of Awadh and second of Andhra Pradesh. So here we'll discuss about case of Awadh, how the people are rebelling, protesting in countryside, in villages, that we'll see here. In Awadh, peasants were led by Baba Ramchandra. Okay, he is a very interesting figure. He was an indentured laborer from Fiji. From Fiji he came and he was a sannyasi, but he was indentured labor also. Indentured means bonded labor. For specific time, you are bonded to someone to work for them. That is called indentured labor. Okay, so Baba Ramchandra was indentured laborer and he came from Fiji and led movement in Awadh. In Awadh, the movement was against talukadars and landlords who demanded exorbitantly high rents from the peasants and variety of other cesses, that is taxes. Okay, so peasants had to do beggar. Beggar means forced labor. As they could not pay the revenue, they had to do the forced labor. Okay, and work at landlords' farms without any payment. So as tenants, they had no security of tenure and being regularly evicted so that they could acquire no right over the leased land. See, at that time there was a system. What was the system? It was considered that land is belonged by Britishers, but as they could not cultivate whole land, so they used to give that land on lease to farmers. So farmers will cultivate it, but they have to pay its rent to the Britishers. And it was decided for every farm. For example, you have to take the size of that farm. If it is a 1 acre, so this much rent you have to pay. It was not taken into consideration that whether the rain will come, whether the crop will harvest or not. It was not taken into consideration. Okay, so in this way, that what was the demand of these farmers, peasants? They demanded reduction of revenue, then abolition of beggar, and social boycott of oppressive landlords. So in this way, in Awadh, there was protest movement against talukadars and landlords. Okay, so in many places, Nai, Dhobi, the bans were organized by panchayats to deprive landlords of the services of even barbers and washermen. These common people also, they refuse the service to these landlords and talukadars. Okay, then there can be a question in your mind, sir, we are talking about non-cooperation movement and it was against Britishers, isn't it? So why here talukadar and landlords? Many of these talukadars and landlords, they were Indians. Okay, but everywhere Britishers can't go, isn't it? As the Britishers giving maximum service, maximum facilities to talukadars and landlords, those who were Indians, they were happy. They didn't want, see, every happy person, rich people, they never want revolution because they are happy with that. Okay, those who are tortured, only they want revolution and change. That's why these peasants, they were fighting against these talukadars and landlords. Maximum of them were Indians. Okay, so with this perspective, Audh Kisan Sabha is going to be established in 1920. June 1920, Jawaharlal Nehru began going around the villages in Awadh, talking to the villagers and trying to understand their grievances. By October, the Audh Kisan Sabha was set up by Jawaharlal Nehru, and it was also headed by Jawaharlal Nehru and Baba Ramchandra. As it was so much popular topic, issue at that time, so it was so much popular, so within a month, 300 branches were set up in the villages around the region. And as the movement was spreading in 1921, the houses of talukadars and merchants were attacked, bazaars were looted, and grain hoards were taken over. What was this grain hoard? See, as you must be know the economic principle that if you want to grow the price of something, just hoard something, means store your grain. So as the grain will be stored, there will be less production or less supply. That's why price will grow, and when the price will grow, then these businessmen, they will take out that hoarded grain and then they will sell. Okay, so that is a strategy of businessmen to store, and when the price will increase, then take it out and then sell. Okay, So in this way, hoarded grain was there and it was looted by the people. In many places, local leaders told peasants that Gandhiji had declared that no taxes were to be paid and land was to be redistributed among the poor. See how the people thinking about the idea of Gandhiji means we say a self-interest. In their self-interest, they are thinking, they are looking at Gandhiji's idea of non-cooperation. Okay, and all the activities that they were doing, it was named by Gandhiji. The name of Mahatma was being invoked to sanction all action and aspiration. Okay, so here you can see the photo of Baba Ramchandra, looking very handsome. Okay, so Baba Ramchandra led this movement in Awadh. Okay, it was against talukadars and landlords, and you can see here what was the demand of these people: reduction of revenue, abolition of beggar, and social boycott of oppressive landlords. Okay, chalo, let's move forward. We discussed about towns, then we discussed about countryside, and the first case of countryside is Awadh. Now second case of Andhra Pradesh, Gudam Hills. Okay, in the Gudam Hills of Andhra Pradesh, for instance, a militant guerrilla movement spread in the early 1920s, not a form of struggle that the Congress could approve. Okay, see, now there is going to be a problem in Andhra Pradesh, and one very interesting figure you can see below. There is a picture of Alluri Sitaram Raju. He used the guerrilla warfare tactics, which also used by Shivaji Maharaj. Okay, as the enemy, the foe, is very large in size, so in front we can't stay for a long. So what we have to do? We have to cut, we have to attack, and we have to run in jungle. Don't stand in front of them and don't get killed yourself. Okay, that was the guerrilla warfare, Ganimi Kawa. You might have heard about this, isn't it? So this was going on in Andhra Pradesh, and Congress, as you know, it was led by Gandhiji, and they were completely following non-violence. It could never approve this. Okay, so here in one forest region, colonial government had closed large forest areas, and people were prevented from entering the forest to graze their cattle or to collect fuel wood and fruits. Okay, so the Adivasi people, those who are living in forest, they were completely dependent upon this. They used to go to the forest, they used to collect the wood, then fruits, and they would sell it somewhere in the cities. That was their business. But here, Britishers completely banned the entry of these people in forest. Why so? Because in this, it was a reserved forest, protected forest, where Britishers would cultivate bamboo or wood, which will be used in building ships. Okay, that's why these people were not allowed to enter in this area. So the fight of these people were against this system, and this enraged the hill people. Not only were their livelihoods affected, but they felt that their traditional rights were also being denied. Okay, how their traditional rights were being denied? Because their ancestor, they belonged the land. The father, if he is having two sons, it will be divided into two parts. So these two sons will get land of his father. But as Britishers came there and they taken away this right from these people, they were feeling that their traditional rights were being denied. So when the government began forcing them to contribute beggar for road building, the hill people revolted. Okay, and Alluri Sitaram Raju, he is an interesting figure. He led this movement. This figure is very interesting, and many rumors were there about this figure. What were the rumors? You can see here. It was thought that he could make correct astrological predictions and heal people, and he could survive even bullet shots. He was such a strong. Okay, these were the rumors about Alluri Sitaram Raju. But afterwards, when the people were captivated by Raju, the rebels, the people, they used to think that he is an incarnation of God. Okay, Alluri Sitaram also used to talk about greatness of Mahatma Gandhi, and he said, and he was inspired by non-cooperation movement, and he persuaded people to wear khadi and give up drinking. But at the same time, see, uh, he used to say that India could be liberated by the use of force, not non-violence. And here was the point of conflict. The Gudam rebels attacked police stations, attempted to kill British officials, and carried on guerrilla warfare for achieving Swaraj. So, if you see the way of fighting of Alluri Sitaram Raju, then do you think his ideology could match with Congress or with Gandhiji? Answer me this. Okay, chalo fine. Then Raju was captured finally and executed in 1924, and as he died, but still he became a folk hero, and many stories spread about him. Many songs were built up on him. Okay, so in this way, case of Andhra Pradesh of Gudam Hills that we discussed. Okay, now third, the last part of our second part, that is Swaraj in the plantations. See, uh, first of all, what is a plantation? Plantation means an area where only one crop will be cultivated. For example, tea, coffee, rubber, and it is used for business. It is not kind of subsistence farming. It is cultivated for business. So in plantation, only one crop is grown, and there, if you want to recruit labor, it should be skilled or trained labor at least. So that's why when you will go to that system, in plantation system, once you go there, you have to leave your village, you have to live there only, you can't leave that area without permission. Okay, and you can't go back to your village. So that was a very harsh system. So for plantation workers in Assam, freedom meant the right to move freely in and out of the confined space in which they were enclosed, and it meant retaining a link with the village from which they had come. According to Inland Immigration Act of 1859, so see, here is the act. What this act says: plantation workers were not permitted to leave the tea gardens without permission, and in fact they were rarely given such permission. Okay, so in this way, plantation workers in Assam, when they heard about non-cooperation movement, thousands of workers defied the authorities. Just ran away from there. They defied the authorities, left the plantation, and headed home. They believed that Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their own villages. See, what was their idea? If we go back to our village, we will be given land in our villages, and this is a Gandhi Raj. That was their idea. Okay, they however never reached their destination. Unfortunately, they could not reach. Why? Because when they were moving towards their villages, they were stranded in railway and steamer strike, and they were caught by police and brutally beaten up, and they could never reach to their villages. So in this way, Swaraj in the plantation, that was their idea. But the vision of these movements were not defined by the Congress program. They interpreted the term Swaraj in their own ways, imagining it to be a time when all suffering and all troubles would be over. So in this way, Swaraj in the plantation, what was their idea? We have discussed. Okay. So in the second part, we discussed what first, what was the idea, what were the activities done in towns. Second, what activities were done in countryside, that is in as a representation we have taken two cases, one case of Awadh and second case of Andhra Pradesh Gudam Hills, and third we discussed about the plantation. Okay, so here we will finish our second part, but before that we will see this Chauri Chaura incident and how non-cooperation movement started. On 4th February 1922, unfortunately, one incident took place in Chauri Chaura, Uttar Pradesh. The people, they were moving peacefully in procession, representing their protest. They were moving peacefully. There was not any kind of violence, but still, policemen, they attacked this procession, and 2-3 people were killed in that. When people realized this, they became so furious and they attacked that police station of Chauri Chaura and just burnt it. In this fire, some historians say 22, some say 23 policemen were killed, and when Gandhiji heard about it, he just called off non-cooperation movement. So in this way, on 4th February 1922, non-cooperation movement was called off and stopped. Okay, so here we are going to finish our non-cooperation movement. Okay, chalo fine. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. If you have any question, you can send me, and if you have any suggestion, any queries, you can write in comment box and you can send me. Okay, chalo thank you so much. Have a nice day.